All right, so a couple of things to talk about. For one, is Jim Jones a snitch? Is he a rat? Is he a tattletale? Well, we're going to get into some conclusions about that, and it may not be the answer that a lot of people like, but I'm sure going to give you an answer for that one. Also, let's talk about Jon Jones. What is his career trajectory going to be? Is it going to be Tom Aspinall? Is it going to be Pereira? Is it going to be Stipe Miocic? I'm going to tell you exactly what is the high likely of that particular scenario. As we take a ride on the west side. As we take a ride on the west side. As we ride on the west side. Yeah, ride on the west side. Anyways, so a lot of people are saying that Jon Jones is a snitch. Let's recap the story a little bit. Jim Jones. Let me not mix the Joneses up, okay? Because this is all about keeping up with the Joneses as far as I'm concerned with this particular track. But anyways, Jim Jones, let me correct this one more time. Jim Jones was in an airport, supposedly, in his own allegations, was assaulted by two white men. Now, a lot of people are not going to like the fact that they're saying, okay, you know what? He's telling because the cops showed up. And then there's a lot of people that also say, well, you know what? He's a black man in an airport being assaulted by two white men. What was he supposed to do? I got to tell you guys, when you live by a certain code of honor, when you live by a certain code of the streets, it's not applicable to your life in what these gentlemen have to do. I hope you understand that. In other words, if you were to be assaulted by anybody, whether it would be the police, whether it would be another civilian, or whether it would be just any random person out there, most of you are going to tell, and most of you are not going to handle it on your own. And that's just what it is. And that is literally the majority of the world, if not 90% of America. The other 10% of America, well, they live by a certain code of honor that doesn't involve the police in any way. And I could give you historical reasons behind that. Not only could I give you historical reasons behind that, but I could also give you the nuances of this particular subject. And by the way, I got to be honest with you. This is the particular problem with this particular subject at hand that we're dealing with. There's a lot of nuances that keeps on happening with Jim Jones in terms of his snitching situation. And what do I mean by nuances? I got to tell you this, right? A lot of people will constitute anything as snitching so long as it benefits them against your enemies. So if you hear Whack 100 or anybody that's against Jim Jones, it's going to be a lot easier for them to say, of course he told. He literally told the police right then and there that I'm being assaulted by two white guys and I need help. Now, I don't know if he needed help. By the way, since this is a fight podcast and a fight YouTube content, I got to be honest with you, Jim Jones had a pretty good clinch game going on. While he had them clinched up, the one guy that was trying to prevent Jim Jones from body locking the younger gentleman, the older gentleman who was, I think, a bald-headed white male, came at him and just started throwing these weak little ground and pound punches just because it was the only thing open out of Jim Jones. And then when the cops came, Jim Jones said, you see this? They're assaulting me. I'm going to tell you guys right now, there have been past allegations of Jim Jones proclaiming that he's gone out and snitched. Now, is there any truth to this? We don't know. We don't know that particular case. But if we're talking about the airport case, I'm sorry to break it to you guys that hate Jim Jones. And by the way, I'm very neutral in this particular subject. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, he did not snitch. Not at all. Why? Because he didn't get anybody convicted. None of those white men that got into that fight with Jim Jones are going to get convicted because of the fact that Jim Jones is not going to press charges. because of the fact that Jim Jones, stop saying John Jones. I'm going to get to John Jones in a second. Jim Jones did not press any charges on him, therefore it's not constituted as snitching. There's this other rapper in West LA named Big Sad. He got into a shootout, and I believe that there were tapes of him talking to the detectives in some kind of way. I'm talking about this guy named Big Sad now, right? Now, why is that important? A lot of people are saying that he snitched because he was talking to the police, basically telling them that he was there that night, or he saw this, or he didn't see this. The bottom line, guys, he did not give any information that really put anybody away. He didn't. He was just describing what was going on in terms of, well, okay, my girlfriend was here, this situation was going on, my homie was here, I don't know who did the shooting whatsoever, and he made that very clear. So Big Sad did not snitch. Jim Jones did not snitch because he did not get those men convicted. Now, the other side of this, should they have done any talking whatsoever? The answer is no. Because the bottom line is, you're Jim Jones, you're Big Sad, you're the biggest rapper in LA, the biggest rapper in New York, the biggest rapper ever, whatever label you want to claim. You are that guy. And not only are you that guy in the rap world, you are also a member of the Bloods. Such Big Sad as well was a member of the West Side Playboy Crips in LA. And as a result of that, you can't go out and say things. Now, how your hood and how your gangs and how your organization deals with you is to their own discretion. I can tell you, from what I understand about gang politics, perhaps maybe there